All right, just to start off, what are your thoughts on how the first year of the program has went so far for Texas Tech?
Oh man, it's been incredible. The expectations have been the same. You know, when I go out and these teams have come together, you know, in the past it's always been Highland Park Scots based on the graduation year, or South Lake Dragons based on the graduation year, and those athletes are still involved, which they've come together, and then going out and bringing other athletes that have been involved with in the past, or you know, teams in which the athletes we've played against or competed against that were interested in coming on. And especially with my older team, the 15U team, you know, we don't get any practice time. You know, we're spread out all across the state. The kids at that age, the ninth graders, they're multi-sport, especially this time of the year with track and with baseball. And the core of the kids are in the DFW area. I do have an athlete in the Woodlands. I do have an athlete in Keller. Brady's out in Argyle, so it's hard to get practice time. But at their age, you know, I think what's really incredible about them is not having that time behind the curtain with them, as I do with my 14U all the way down, is we're able to meet, quickly make adjustments, talk about the new things that are ongoing with concepts and schemes, and be able to go out and execute that has been really, really incredible. But you know, when you deal with very disciplined, coachable athletes, as which they are, that's why they were chosen to be involved, then you can really go a long way. And that team, you know, we've experienced everything. We've been battle tested. We've had to make plays to, you know, shut a team down, or we had to make plays to sustain our league or come back. I was really proud this past weekend. We were playing a very physical team out of Louisiana, and they jumped on us right away, and we were down 15-0 within about 5 minutes. So we had a couple of really big plays to spark the momentum, but you know, the entire time we stay composed. And that says a lot about my athletes, is we do not get rattled, and you know, we know what they know what they need to do, and you know, they go out and execute calmly. And so far, it's been very, very successful for us, you know, along the way. But I think when you get battle tested and deal with some adversity along the way, which we've been on both ends of it, just makes you that much better.
You're blessed to have some top quarterbacks in the program. Obviously, very important to have a good quarterback in 7-on-7. So, how have they grown, and how much do they mean to you in this program? Those quarterbacks from 9U all the way up to 15U.
It's been incredible. You know, the 9U progressive, that's where I get them at that third grade. So they're spoon-fed, you know, about 10, 15 concepts they can learn thoroughly. But as we get older, especially our offense is very conceptual. We have a ton of options. I think that's what makes it so difficult to stop us at times. But you know, having the Buck Randalls, where you know, I get these guys 1 or 2 hours a week, you know, for practice, but they're out doing things on a daily basis. You know, that whether they're doing private training, they're going to a camp. You know, they're so self-driven. They go to the stadium and throw. Carter Lynn out in South Lake, he does the exact same thing. You know, so every day they're out doing things. But you know, we have communication on a weekly basis. So we group chat. We discuss our game plan, you know, up and coming, and you know, they're students of the games like I am. You know, I'm up till 2 or 3 in the morning studying game film and going through and looking at things that we need to address or make better, and I send to them, and they do the exact same thing. So there's a lot of things that are done behind the scene, to where when we do come together, you know, in whichever organization, we quickly cover the rules, and then we're out ready to rock and roll.
One thing I think that's kind of overlooked with this team, you know, you get caught up in the offense, but the defense has been really good at all levels, especially 15U. So what do you attribute to that defensive success? Yeah,
well, I'm an offensive-minded coach. I think everyone understands that. But, you know, we run, you know, about 3 or 4 different schemes on defense, you know, and obviously in this game, you cannot run. So I like having true linebackers, which in that case our 15U team has, you know, 3 or 4 linebackers that play in tackle. So, you know, they're able to work on defending against the pass and covering up opposition, you know, quick slot receivers. You know, my thing offensively is, you know, per game, you get about 3 to 4 or 5 drives, and I'm looking to score each and every time. And, you know, that recipe, when we do score at 90% rate or above, then I just ask my defense typically for 1 stop. You know, the key is just getting the right guys in the right positions and making sure, like I address on offense, our matchups favor us, as defensively I have to have the same exact thing. So luckily at the 15U team, I do have a lot of height and elongation on the back end, so we're able to flip safeties and you know, get matchups that are favorable to us. We played a team this week out of Tampa, and they had an outside one receiver that is one of the top receivers in the country. I believe he has 5 or 6 D1 offers. So it's just getting matchups with corners and safeties on top of guys like that. And if we can get the quarterback to go through a couple of reads or progressions, then the 4 seconds is tough to go by.
Now, looking at your 12U team this past weekend, they went on a really amazing run on Sunday. A lot of those kids are playing up. They've had to battle against 12-year-olds all season long. So how proud of you were them, to be able to see them get to that stage?
Yeah, that was awesome. And, those teams of late, the 10U division, unfortunately, have not been making, of late in the high exposure 2-day tournaments. So to take a combination of 10U, and I don't even have a 12U, it's really an 11U team, that with one 6th grader that does play in the 12U. So to be able to get those pieces thrown together last minute and to go out and play the competition in which we did after we won our semifinal game against Cat Takeover, which they've won a tournament, I believe, on the circuit, and just incredible athletic team. Coming in when they came to me after we won, I had a really hard time. I was choked up a little bit just because they have grinded so hard, and it's been tough. It's been really, really hard on them. And a lot of it is just the physicality they're not used to as 10-year-olds really playing, with the January 1st, playing a lot of 13-year-olds, especially as spring goes on with a lot of these teams. But we had a great matchup with a team that I respect so much out of Tampa Bay Irish, and to be able to be on the field with them, they have experienced so much success, and we have a lot of good friendships. I do with the quarterback and the quarterback's dad and their coaches, and we follow each other on social media, and I'm a big fan of them. So for our kids going in to be able to be on the field with the top 12U team in the nation, that was really a fun experience for them. And you take away that, and I knew it was going to be a track meet to be able to keep up with them. But for them, they come out of that with their heads up, knowing that they gave their best. That's all I ask, is just give your best effort and play the cleanest game that you can, and move on. Look ahead to the next.
Now, 14U has kind of had to make a jump too, because I know most of that roster that you had was 12U last year, so they're making the jump up to 14U. You guys kind of have had a couple runner-up finishes. You've gone the distance in several tournaments, but get over that hump, win a championship last week against a previously unbeaten North Texas United team. So just describe what that was like. How's their season gone, and what's ahead for them?
Yeah, definitely, Nitro. Nitro's been a machine for years now. They've played as consistent as anybody in the nation. But yes, that jump from being a national champion in 12U, knowing what my Scott's 2025 team, just knowing the obstacles in 14U, especially with athletes now hitting that puberty with 8th and 9th graders, and they're a majority 7th grade team. So it was great to get over the hump this past week. To their credit, we finally had our entire roster, which in previous tournaments we have not. So we had our entire 13-man roster, and Nitro has been a mixture of the 7th and 8th graders. So teams that I've coached in the previous, having their receivers play with us, and they do still continue to play with us and practice with us to develop. Made a huge difference. But that was a gauntlet of a tournament, and as all of them have. But to be able to go out and play clean, and we knew going in this was a tournament that it was a must-win for us. So it was great to be able to go through that gauntlet and match up with teams that we've played in the past. And the message with all my teams in these 2-day tournaments, especially Nitro, these aren't sprints; they're marathons. So Saturday you play your roster, you get guys acclimated to the tournament, the venue, the competition, and you set yourself up on Saturday for what you go into, and you play Sunday. And then Sunday, you got to be on your A game. It doesn't really matter what you do on Saturday. And many of teams in the past, they can be a 1-2 record or 0-4 record and be a low seed, and you get hot on Sunday. That's what all that matters. In fact, a couple of years ago, I had a Southlake team, and we played in a 2-day tournament, and we were a 10 seed. I've never had a 10 seed ever advance or even be seated that low. And Sunday we got hot and ended up winning the entire tournament. We know that too when we go through, and we've luckily been a high seed going into Sunday, as it doesn't matter what you do on Saturday. So for Nitro, really proud of them to get over that hump. My quarterback on that team, Buck Randall is by far the top quarterback in the nation for his age. And, the way he sees our offense and goes through his reads, and just such a, student of the game, and it's just perfection in which he plays. So we've got some special weapons around him to give him that.
Now your 15U team just won their 6th championship, I believe,
yes,
of the season. So we knew they were going to be good. I know you were telling me about that before the season started, but how have they been able to be so consistent from week to week?
Man, that's the hardest thing. People don't realize that in sports is you really deal more with adversity than you do with success in sports. Because at the end of the season, only one team stands at the hierarchy, the top of the mountain. So everyone has to go back and adjust and work on the things you got to do just to get to that point. So with them going in, I knew we were going to have a really, really good team. The challenge now is being consistent with no practices. And now as we're getting late in the season, we're dealing with some injuries, which we've had that occur. And to be able to bring in some new athletes, which we have, to come in and plug them in. And, we're going to be healthy here really, really soon. But, what's so cool about what they've been able to accomplish is they've been able to do that in every organization, not just one organization. But we've played teams from all coastlines, east to west. We traveled to Florida. We've been in the Woodlands. A lot of the big teams, DFW is the heartbeat for football in the nation. And we do have a lot of great tournaments that occur here on a weekly basis, if not multiple times, per month. So they've seen the best, and they've competed against the best. I don't know if many people know this. They've been in 7 tournaments this year and been in all 7 championships and won 6 of 7. We got knocked off in the Woodlands playing in the Legend Showcase tournament against a very good Hawaii team that really shocked us. But when we were done with that team, man, that was good to deal with some adversity against a really well-oiled machine. They were very disciplined in Hawaii, man. They can't travel many places, so they play a lot of football after they get out of school. But now 15U has been a pleasure, and when you deal with kids that are very humble, that play the game the right way, we display phenomenal sportsmanship towards every organization, towards their leaders, towards the referees, towards the opposing team coaches. So for them, it's a pleasure. It's such a fun ride. And I get in the huddle, I'm only 5'10". I feel like I'm in a forest with those guys. I mean, they tower above me.
As you get prepared for nationals coming up in the next few weeks, how do you feel about the program's direction, where you guys are at in just your first year? I know you know all these kids, but first year technically started in the program.
Yeah, that we know going in, that we're going to have a big X on our back, and the expectation, that's the thing with having this new program, Texas Epic, is the expectations that I've had with the Highland Park Scots and the South Lake Dragons has been the same. And we do have athletes that play within that do not attend those schools, but they buy into it, and they understand what we have to do as a team. We don't play individuals. Football is the ultimate team sport, and on every team from my 9U to my 15U, we have that's preached, each and every time we take the field. So, we're looking forward to the opportunity to play against the best teams in the nation, in the country, which we have. This time going in, seeing probably some of these teams multiple times, know that, they know our tendencies and they know our personnel. So, with that, we have to always make adjustments, understand how to do so on the fly. But no, we welcome the competition, definitely looking forward to it. We know we definitely have our work cut out for us to be able to achieve those.
Coach, anything else you want to say?
I think that's about it.
All right.
I think closing, I got one more.
Okay.
Yeah, closing out, I just want to speak of this. This is my entire program and my families. We appreciate this guy, Ben Spicer, that works in our program and sends the content across the platform. And the great thing, he knows where to send this for our athletes. And we've already seen what is going on, but on a weekly basis, kids and families contact me, and we're just so proud to have Ben Spicer involved in our program. He does such phenomenal work, with our program and with our athletes. So, again, we want to just give him a big shout out, because I know when things are fast and furious out there, he's always the eyes and the ears that sends our content out to our families that may not be able to attend that event, but they're able to go back and watch it during the week and see things on social media. But we want to just take a moment and give him a big shout out from myself and all the families and athletes involved in our entire program.